Do we have to have an intro, like a special intro to the Nog Blog? It's like some holiday music.
I think holiday music would be fitting.
It's the holiday season.
And whoop-de-doo.
And look at me, I got stuff on my shoe. So here it is. It's the holiday season edition of Drift and Ramble, which is not really accurate. Really, it's a standalone episode all by itself. It has nothing to do with Drift and Ramble. You won't get the usual historical references, but you might get some weird history from us, from Cheryl and I.
Some of our own personal weird history?
Well, maybe not. This isn't the place to air out all the laundry. But each week, Cheryl and I discuss starting a new podcast, and we're full of ideas, among other things. And the idea that we had yesterday was, because it's the holiday season, it's the Egg Nog season, and Egg Nog is my favorite time of year. I mean, the holidays are my favorite time of year. I don't know about you, but I consider myself to be an eggnog aficionado.
Or would you maybe say an eggnog, what's the word I'm looking for? Not just aficionado, but an eggnog...
Connoisseur?
Connoisseur, that's what the word I was looking for.
Yeah. They should have something like Nog Con. I'd go.
Nog Con.
Yeah,
I like it. Okay.
So anyway, we decided that we'd have to have some kind of a podcast or a blog or something, and I said, well, we have to call it the Nog Blog. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. So I think this episode of the Drift and Ramble podcast will be known forever as the Nog Blog.
So we didn't go as far as securing nogblog.com, but I wouldn't say it's out of the realm of possibility.
It's you shouldn't have announced that. I guess by the time you'll know, if you try to search for the .com name and it's gone, you'll know why.
Well, you can do that before we air this episode. So.
Yeah, well, we're going to air everything else, aren't we? Well, so the Nog Blog, what would the Nog Blog be about? I mean, obviously, we got to talk about eggnog. And if we're going to talk about eggnog, we got to start at the top.
Well, the one that we've discovered, how many years ago do you think we found that? Like 20, maybe?
Yeah, at least.
15 to 20 years ago. We discovered this eggnog from a local dairy. The name is Brogier's. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's Brogier's Fresh Farm Fresh Dairy.
How come when you say it, it sounds fancy and almost French, and if I say it, it sounds like a couple of dudes that are working out of a eggnog stand in Compton?
Oh, you mean like bro?
Brogier's.
Brogier's.
Yeah.
We could just call it Bronog. Anyway, doing minimal research after buying it for all these years, I found that this particular dairy is in Montebello, California, which is basically East LA, so who knew that would be a place where excellent eggnog would come from. But anyway, we've tried others over the years, and I have to say nothing is as good as this particular nog.
Nothing compares to you. What? Oh, sorry. I'll edit that out.
All right, Sinead. Anyway, so last night we were out running some errands, dipped into the
Don't lie, we were at the liquor store.
Well, that's true. That's true, and that also plays into part of the nog story, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So, yeah, we went to the liquor store. After that, we stopped in our local, kind of, what would you say, snooty grocery store?
Yes, a very, very spendy grocery store. Spendy
store. We bought a few pumpkins to make pie.
Yes.
I
selected them, by the way.
Yes, so we're going to find out later today if they're good or not after I roast them. I also got excited when I saw Luxardo maraschino cherries on the shelf, and I knew that those were recommended for making a perfect Manhattan. And we had just recently bought some Averno liqueur to make a black Manhattan, so I thought, perfect, these Luxardo cherries, we're going to get them. I didn't see a price on the shelf, and I knew they were going to be expensive, but I said, we'll just go with that. So
we bought the cherries. We got them up to the cash register anyway.
Yeah, and so he rang them up, and they rang up at $19.99. So I thought better of it, and I said, you're going to need to take those cherries off, please.
Yeah, $20 for cherries. I mean, there's a lot of other things we could buy for $20 that would be a lot more fun than cherries.
Yeah, like liquor.
Right?
You could buy a bottle of liquor for $20. So anyway, no Luxardo cherries for us. But anyway, so we were there. They had the eggnog. It's not always easy to find. So we bought it. It's rather expensive. It's about $7 or $8 for a quart.
It's $8 a quart. $8 a quart. That's like motor oil.
Plus $1 deposit for the glass bottle.
In fact, I don't even think motor oil is that much.
Probably not.
But this stuff is about the same viscosity as a good 30-weight oil.
That's
I mean,
right.
you could run this in an engine block and everything would be smooth as silk. I mean, it's thick.
Yeah, it coats the bottle. It coats the glass. It coats your throat as it's going down into your belly. It's delicious.
Yes. So good.
So we got it home and we were debating, okay, should we have it plain or should we put some booze in it? So, Friday night, what's the best answer?
Well, traditionally, people put alcohol in eggnog, and that's been going on for centuries. And the alcohol of choice is what you have on hand. Some people say it has to be bourbon. Some people say it has to be rum. You can put just about anything in it, but not everything tastes great. And for, nearly 20 years, we've been putting bourbons and whiskeys and various things. I've tried rum a couple of times, like, Bacardi's.
Yeah, I think we even tried the Myers dark rum.
And Myers, right? But last night, something magical happened here on the Nog Blog.
Steve had the brainstorm. He said, we should try some of that Kahlua Kauai dark rum that we have.
So let's back up and just say that, was it last year?
It was in 2016.
2016, Cheryl and I were blessed with an opportunity to go to Hawaii. It was fantastic. We had a really wonderful time. It was great. And during that trip, we about the point that we actually got off the plane, we found this rum, which is called...
It's Kahlua Kauai Dark Hawaiian Rum.
But it's available here, stateside. You can get it anywhere, just about most of the liquor stores anyway, at least here in California. And this stuff is just tremendous. It's magical. It's really, really good. But it skews on the sweet side, so it's good for mixing, tropical drinks, especially the POG mixture that we came up with while we were there. But it's got a kind of a very drinkable quality on its own, and you can literally just drink the stuff straight. You don't have to mix it with anything. I know people always try and put rum in Coke, and God forbid. But this stuff it honestly does not require anything to enhance its flavor. It's really good on its own. So we thought we'd try and combine the two. We combined the two, and man, it was just magic.
The angels sang, the heavens opened up.
Yeah, and then, I chugged an 8-quart bottle of the sauce there. So anyway, we consumed some alcohol last night, and it was delicious, and I highly recommend it. And this is, starting at the top with the Nog Blog. We've got nowhere else to go. The Nog Blog probably isn't going to last. Maybe it'll be an annual episode because there's just no way to go past the top. We get the Broguiers, Egg Nog, you got to get that, and then the rum.
Kahlua Kauai Dark Hawaiian Rum.
Okay, and folks, we're not getting compensated by these people in any way. We have no affiliation. We're just saying this stuff is awesome and you should try it if you can get your hands on it. The Nog Blog continues with further updates for what's happening with Drift and Ramble.
Do we want to talk about that other nog we tried?
Oh, we can talk about the other nog. We don't want to bash it.
No. We don't want to bash it at all. But
It wasn't bad?
We were at the grocery store, and we saw the Broguières, right? Which was like $8.
Right.
And then we saw this other
and
one.
you said, we're not getting that because it's too expensive, so we got the one that was $1 less.
It was, $1, maybe $2 less. I'm not sure.
It was $1 less.
But it was from a reputable...
$1.
Okay, so this is talking about airing the dirty laundry. This is our typical debate. So this was from a reputable dairy we were familiar with called Strauss Family Farm. And we had actually...
Is it Carl Strauss? Because they make beer.
No, that's a different Strauss. But yeah, we're kind of on the Carl Strauss brewery too. But this was a different Strauss. I think only one S for the dairy, two S's for the beer.
All right.
So this was organic eggnog, also in a glass bottle for a quart. And so we said, let's try this because we've tried other things from them. It's a farm from Northern California, I think near Olema, where we actually went camping over the summer. But I digress. So we got this home, and immediately from when Steve shook it up to mix up the spices, we could tell it just didn't have the same viscosity as the Broguières.
Viscosity. Who knew that was a thing?
Yeah, we judge eggnog by its viscosity.
Yeah, you got to have a good viscosity is the measure of good eggnog. If it doesn't stick to stuff and like cling to the sides of the glass and that kind of a thing, then it's probably not that great.
Yeah, so that was our first sign, but we tasted it. It was okay. I mean, the taste, I think, was pretty good. The spices were all right, but it just didn't have that eggy. I could tell they didn't use a lot of yolks in it because the color was a lot more pale than the Broguières.
It tasted like eggnog-flavored milk.
Yeah, I would say so. And for, if that one was $7 a bottle, not worth the slight savings to sacrifice quality. So, lesson learned.
Yeah, lesson learned. I said, get the good stuff. You said no, and then we suffered through a bad eggnog.
So that kind of is a microcosm of our entire relationship.
Well, that's great. I mean, we've turned the entire nation on to our favorite eggnog now, and we'll probably never see it on the shelves again.
Oh, no. I didn't think about that. Except, I think it's, who knows if it makes it past California. I don't know, but...
I don't know.
We can't really stock up on that because it has a pretty short shelf life because it's all natural.
So for you folks in Pennsylvania, I'm sure you've got some great eggnog there. That's the one you should buy. Find the good stuff, drink the good stuff, and tell us about it. We'd love to hear from you. You can email us at driftandramble@gmail.com. That's driftandramble, all one word, @gmail.com.
I hope we don't get so many emails about Nog that it breaks your inbox.
Oh, you're going to get a letter. Yeah.
I want to get something from Broguières, like a gift, like a coupon or something.
Yeah, I'm sure they listen to this podcast.
Well, we can tell them.
Yeah. The people at Broguières are like, oh, God, they're talking about us. Hey, the Nog Blog. It was a great idea. I think it's a seasonal idea. We're going to keep doing it every year for the next year.
Should we do an update closer to Christmas?
No.
I might make some page talk about that. Yeah.
How do you get the viscosity? Tune back into the next Let's move on because we've got a lot to talk about here. We don't want to waste your saying thank you. A lot of things to be thankful for around Thanksgiving. Not only do we have now the Nog Blog, which is this wonderful invention, but we also have a great many things. October was a lot of stuff. It's just I can't say enough good things about October. So in October, some crazy things happened. One of them was I won a contest.
What did you win, Steve?
I won a sound card. I won it's a PreSonus Quantum 2 Thunderbolt interface, if that makes any sense to you. It's a sound card. Basically what it is a really nice upgrade for my recording studio, and it's a fantastic piece of gear that I can't wait to set up, and I'll be doing that later this morning, actually setting it up and getting it running and testing it all out. So in the next edition of the Nog Blog, maybe I'll have an update on how cool this thing really is. But it's amazing, and so I want to say thanks to Russ Hughes and the folks at Studio One Expert, and of course PreSonus, because I'm now the proud owner of a Quantum 2 Thunderbolt interface, and I'll be installing that today and providing some updates. The thing's amazing. It's got great specs, and for gearheads, I can tell you a little bit more about that. If you're interested, shoot me an email or something. But in the meantime, I'll be setting it up and really looking forward to getting into this thing. It's just super cool, and I'm so happy and excited to have actually won a prize. So if you're looking at contests and going, I never win anything, enter anyway. I mean, what do you got to lose? Or you get a few emails, and you might just get something cool. So do it. It's amazing, and I'm so lucky.
You can't win if you don't enter.
Yeah, you can't win if you don't play.
So do you think I can expect a lot of swearing today while you're setting this up?
No, I'm not. We just don't know. So let's say first and foremost that I'm dealing with a Mac, so the swearing will be less.
Okay. And plus, you're setting it up in the booth, so I can pretty much close the door and walk away, and I don't have to hear the swearing.
It is soundproof, so yes. Anyway, right. Speaking of gear, I have a brief interview segment coming up on the Audio Drama Production Podcast, and that's all about my studio gear and my setup. So if you're interested in geeking out over equipment, check out that episode, which should be dropping soon. I don't have an exact date, but I just recorded the segment this morning. So there's, just a little bit of information about the microphones I use and the interfaces and the studio setup that we have here at Drift and Ramble, and all that wonderful stuff that only geeks care about. So other things that happened in October were, as you probably recall from mentions that I've made on this podcast, I was a part of Fate Crafters Network, and I made the decision to leave the network. I left voluntarily, was not thrown out. There wasn't any incident, so you can put that rumor to rest. I did not grope anyone, and although Paul Sading will probably come forward in about 2 weeks with some kind of accusation, just ignore it. I'm sure it's false. But in all honesty, Fate Crafters is a great group of folks, really great shows, and really great cooperative there. But it was just feeling to me like it wasn't a great fit, and so I made the decision to leave Fate Crafters. And in making that decision, of course, I was terrified that I'd just fall off into the great abyss and never be heard from again, and that's okay. But like within a day, John Grills contacted me from CreepyPod, and Creepy is a show where John basically finds great stories that are basically creepypastas and narrates them. And so he was looking for somebody to help him in his 31 days of horror for the month of October. And he was allowing a whole bunch of different producers to, do the sound design and stuff. And so he, said, hey, do you want to do a couple? And so I did one, and then I did another, and then I did another one after that. And, next thing I know, he's like throwing a whole bunch my way. And he says, hey, you want to keep doing this? So I became the sound designer for Creepy. And that was just awesome. It was like, one door closes and another one opens, and, who knows what all that really means, but it was a great honor, is a great honor, and we're still doing that. And John is a great guy to work with, and his show is really amazing. If you like scary stories that are creepy, but not necessarily super gory or whatever, it's a great choice. I think you'll enjoy it, and of course, a lot of the sound design that you'll hear going on is from yours truly. So there you go, something new to do.
Yeah, and you seem to really be enjoying that, and it's really doing what you really like to do, which is editing and sound design and all that good stuff.
Sound design is where I feel most comfortable because in front of the mic, I'm you may not believe this, but I'm really an introvert, and I get very nervous, and I have to have a script. And if I don't have a script, I freak out. I mean, I'm not great live. And so being a man behind the curtain kind of position is great for me because it allows me to do what I really like to do, which is mostly music and sound design. I've always worked with sound, and I've always been passionate about it, and in some way managed to keep my hand in it, whether it was producing music or whatever. It's just been tremendous for me, and so this gives me an opportunity to continue down that path.
Yeah, na 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 na. Yeah, na 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 na.
Other things that happened in October, what are they? Well, let's see. We of course, we had 2 great episodes with Drift and Ramble, which were the first time in my experience of writing fiction. Even though they were both, episodes based on factual things, they ended with a fictional twist, and that was a lot of fun for me. It was difficult because I'm not comfortable with that, but it was just a lot of fun to do, and I got some great feedback and response from people, which made me happy because people seemed to enjoy it. I have not received any hate mail, but I did get my very first negative review on YouTube from a guy who said, "Why sully history?" And he had accused me of with the episode on liver eating Johnson. He had accused me of, misreporting facts and chose not to correct anything. Just said, you're misreporting everything, and why sully history? And I thought that was an interesting thing because the source for most of the information for that particular episode is listed on this guy's profile as something that he liked and enjoyed. And so, if he's familiar with the source, he knows that that's a fictional account of the true story of this guy liver-eating Johnston. And so, either the guy didn't listen to the whole episode and decided to leave his critique, or he thought, he was going to be somehow able to stop this train.
Stop this mighty train that is Drift and Ramble.
Right.
Sorry, fella.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
But I sullied history, and I do apologize for that.
Well, I think he gets a bonus point for using the word sully.
Right. I think that's pretty good.
But I'd also say that for this being your first negative social media comment on Drift and Ramble after doing it for
32
almost a year
episodes.
And a half.
Yeah, 32 episodes. That was the first time somebody actually vehemently was negative.
And so for your first troll, would you
Yeah.
call him a troll?
Well,
I guess not really, because it's
it's
just
not-
one
it's
comment.
It's not fair to call somebody a troll just because they disagree with what you've done.
Just because they live under a bridge and have a hairy chin?
Well, we don't know. I mean, but this guy did not have a picture on his profile. But, I did, in all fairness, I did delete the comment because I think that anybody who wants to leave a comment like that and not provide the backup to the information. If you're going to say, you screwed up, then, be bold enough to say what it was that I screwed up. Don't just say, it's like leaving a 1-star review with no words. That's just chicken.
Chicken.
Yeah, chicken. So
Well, tell him what was your first reaction when you got that?
I wrote a 9-page response, which I was going to post, telling the guy I just, where the sources of information were and that my podcast is a source of entertainment, not education, that there was no tuition fees, attached to him listening to that episode for free. And so, if like I said, if you're going to complain about something or say that it's inaccurate, that's the thing that I really took issue with. If he's going to say it's inaccurate, I'm fine with somebody calling me out and saying, you missed an important fact, because let's face it, I'm doing research, but it's easy to overlook the multiple sources of information on a lot of this history. And so I'm all about it. If you have a source or a comment or something like that, just, absolutely let me know. But don't say you screwed up. You didn't get the facts right, and then not say what the facts are. I don't know.
Yeah, but I was very proud of you for saying you just decided against posting that and just leave it alone.
Didn't post my 9-page response, but
so good on you for that.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
So I know something else that happened in October.
What was that?
Well, we watched some exciting World Series baseball games.
We did, and I chose not to bring that up because I don't want you to get upset again.
No, I'm not. It didn't culminate how I would like, of course, with a Dodgers victory, but they were in the World Series. We saw some super exciting games, and that was enjoyable for me, and you were a good sport for going along with that. And we made a trip down to San Diego to see my family for my birthday, part of my birthday extravaganza, where we watched a World Series game that the Dodgers actually won. And then the next morning, we had the opportunity.
Yeah, the next morning we got to meet Greg McAfee from Rex Riveter Private Eye. Greg is the driving force behind that show, the writer, and he's just an incredible guy. A great actor, great writer, and just a really great guy all around. We had a nice conversation with him and breakfast at a pie place.
Yeah, but we didn't actually have pie for breakfast. And unfortunately, Rhiannon, his lovely wife and actress on Rex Riveter, she wasn't able to join us, which was pretty disappointing. But after meeting Greg in person, I know we're going to definitely get together again with him and Rhiannon too, definitely.
Yeah, so Greg and Rhiannon have helped out on the show quite a bit here recently. Tremendous talents. Just really incredible actors, and I can't wait to work with them again. And it was great to finally meet them. We've done all this podcasting business in our in our own little hovel, but it's rare that we get to meet people. But when we do, it's always amazing, and they're just great people. And then I also, by myself, got to meet even more podcasting greatness. In November, I traveled out to Chicago and had the opportunity to meet the lovely and talented Juliet Miranda from the Unwritable Rant, which is one of our favorite podcasts. The Unwritable Rant is an incredible podcast where Juliet basically tells stories of her past and experiences she's had. But they're just a series of bourbon-soaked tales that are just fun to listen to. Juliet's a great storyteller, a tremendous writer, and she's had really a very storied life. So there's quite a bit there to enjoy. Some great stories from her rock and roll past. And, of course, the show is produced by David the producer. David the producer is just an incredibly great guy. He's the kind of guy that was quick to give us advice when we first launched our podcast. Has been very helpful throughout the past year and a half in providing us with some great intel and information, and helping us with everything from transferring the website host to a new host, and just little things behind the scenes things, but he's just proved to be a tremendous guy.
Yeah, and they've both just been super, super supportive of our podcast when we were just starting out and just all the way through. And they've just been they've turned into friends. I feel like they're friends. I was really sad that I didn't get to make this trip with Steve, but I just wasn't able to this time. So I had a serious case of FOMO. But he tweeted me pictures and what?
I don't know what FOMO is.
Fear of missing out.
Oh, it sounds like something that would come out of a can.
It's something that FOMO. Yeah. It's something the kids are saying these days.
Oh, the kids.
Yes, the millennials.
All right.
So, but anyway, I was sad that I didn't get to meet them, but hopefully within the next year I'll have an opportunity to meet up with both of them and enjoy their company like Steve did.
Great folks. I mean, we had an incredible night. We went out to dinner. We had a tremendous dinner in Chicago, and those guys took me to the greatest place, and then took me to a secret little hidden bourbon bar, and it was incredible. We just had a blast. I felt like it's like because I felt like I knew these guys. And because I felt like, even though we've never actually met in person, we've, kind of communicated through, email and stuff like that. But I couldn't shut up. And so I just, the whole night was like, blah, 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 blah. So I'm sure that they're like, if he ever comes back here, don't tell him. Let's just say we've left town. But we really had a great time. It was a wonderful night. And so thanks, you guys. And I hope to see you soon.
And I hope to meet you guys soon. And one of the other things that it's funny, I say to Steve all the time when we're listening to their podcast, we kind of nudge each other because not only does Juliet talk about stories from her past, but she talks about situations that she and David encounter every day. And some of them are just so mirror our life so much. And I just feel like these are our people. So we'll try not to creepily stalk them. But
you just like the wacky madcap hijinks
of course I do.
Daily lives.
Yeah, and it's nice to hear that other people kind of are on the same page.
Yeah, but they have wackier madcap hijinks.
Well, yeah, they do. They definitely do. I kind of want to be them.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That's not creepy at all.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go. This show's taking a turn. The Nog Blog.
All right, so what else?
Great episode. I don't know. I'm out of stuff.
About? Oh, so what's happening with like the Drift and Ramble podcast?
Drift and Ramble. That's the whole reason you're here, right? Oh, I almost forgot. So we're working on new episodes. I've got an episode coming up, probably going to drop sometime in December. And the time frame is wonky because with all the new stuff going on, I've had to set production aside. And so, Drift and Ramble will continue, but it may be a little bit of a wonky schedule for the next few episodes. But coming up, the next episode is going to be on Buffalo Bill. And Buffalo Bill's kind of an amazing guy. We think we know a lot about this guy. We think we know who Buffalo Bill is. But the truth is, you start to dig a little bit, and it's kind of interesting, the story behind him. So I won't give anything away, but I'll just say that Buffalo Bill is coming up on the next Drift and Ramble podcast. Buffalo Bill.
As you're talking.
Not the guy from Silence of the Lambs.
I was so hoping you would go there because as you're talking, my mind is going there and I'm thinking about, Buffalo Bill, Silence of the Lambs. We really love that movie. And that brings up another little fun story about us.
Okay.
Yeah?
You are bringing up a fun story about me. That's what you're doing. You're just trying to pick on me.
No. It's
Go
not.
ahead.
It's not you. It's both of us.
Sure.
So what? So the movie came out probably like early in our relationship, right? I don't know, or maybe even before
I think it was out before.
It might have been early 90s. Anyway, we both liked this movie. We were both big fans of the movie. So we liked it, bought the DVD, out shopping one day. Oh, Silence of the Lambs DVD is on sale. Let's buy it. It's like, oops. And we got home and it's like, we already have this movie.
Yeah,
So
and then we like all of our DVDs, and this is why we don't have any more. which is hard to say. So like all of our DVDs go into a cabinet, the door shuts, and we completely forget that we have these things. And I don't know about you, but I'm not the kind of guy that watches a movie over and over again. If I like a movie, I'll watch it, and maybe every 10 years I'll drag it out and watch it again, at best. But the whole idea behind buying DVDs to me it's just flawed.
Anymore.
Well, yeah, that's the point. It's now it's not even a thing. But there was a storage issue, right? So we started stuffing these DVDs into weird cabinets and whatever, and they just didn't get watched. And so one day I was at the store and I said, "Oh, Silence of the Lambs! I'm going to get this. It's the director's cut. It's a special edition. This one has an extended scene or whatever. I don't know what it had, but it was dumb." I got it home, and here's 2 more copies of Silence of the Lambs already in the cabinet, tucked away. So, that one stayed shrink-wrapped for probably 5 years before we sold them all at a yard sale.
So we always think of Silence of the Lambs, and it was the beginning of our dementia.
Loved it so much, I bought 3 copies.
And did we ever watch one of those?
Oh, yeah.
Did we?
Come on, sure. And when it comes on TV, I still watch it. It's really, that movie is probably one of the best movies in my scope of knowledge for suspense and thriller and, creepy setup. I mean, it's got all the elements of a perfect film. And so much so that the actor who played the lead role not the lead role, but the Buffalo Bill character in that movie, now whenever we see him in anything, it doesn't matter what it is, we immediately start saying, "It puts the lotion on its skin." It puts the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again. So,
put the lotion in the basket.
Put the lotion in the basket. Put the lotion in the basket.
And that poor guy is kind of like, in our estimation anyway, he's kind of pigeonholed as that role.
Well, that's why we're not in casting, so he's lucky in that sense, because I would forever, I'd have him doing like burger commercials.
Just order the burger. Order the fries.
Yeah. Now we're off on a tangent again.
I'm looking at that on the recording.
Yeah, it's going to blow my eardrums out when I edit this. Hey, well, that's it for us on the Nog Blog edition of the Drift and Ramble podcast. I hope something...
you're getting
holy
messages.
Crap, man.
You didn't turn off
messages are coming in like crazy.
You forgot to put it on airplane mode before we got in the booth.
Anyway, I just wanted to say, thank you. Really, seriously, it's Thanksgiving, and I want to give thanks to you for listening to the podcast, for being, a long-time listener. If you are a long-time listener, if you just discovered us, thanks for listening to this. Thanks for being around, for giving us a shot. Thanks for your feedback, good or bad. Thanks for being a part of this podcasting community, for whether you're a podcaster yourself, a listener, a writer, a voice actor. It's just tremendous to get to work with all these different people and put this show together for you, and to have people respond in a positive way at all is a great honor. And I say this, I hope you understand that it's sincere and heartfelt, because it really is, and I really appreciate you being part of your life for whatever period of time that you give me. It's a big deal, and thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks everyone, and we want to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving with friends and family. And for those of you in the UK or Canada or any other countries that listen to us, happy any other day of the year.
We're here to sully history for you, and thank you so much for the opportunity to do that. I will be probably posting a notice about when the next episode of the Drift and Ramble podcast will be happening, so check all the usual sources, Facebook, Twitter. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. For what it's worth to know, if you support us on our Patreon page, we're working on some stuff there. We've been talking about it for the longest time, but I'm working on a plan to release some music there. A couple of things have to happen before that is possible, and so I need to make that happen. But there'll be some bigger benefits and at least more content for you, and we're working on trying to make that a little more special. So check out the Patreon page. That's the place to go for all the show notes, the casts lists for the various episodes, so you can see who voiced what. And I highly recommend you listen to the Black Bart episode and check out the character I did for Mr. Ware.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
that was Mr.
probably,
Ware, but then also the Don McLean.
Well, I did Don McLean, but Don McLean was in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, so you're saying Mr. Ware.
I just wanted to say wheelhouse.
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 Why are you saying it like that?
I don't.
Well, this went on a lot longer than we thought it was going to be. You said, this is going to be quick 10 minutes.
5 minutes is I'm going to edit it back to 5 minutes.
Okay, that's probably best for everyone.
Nobody wants to listen to my wheezy laugh. And now I'm going to sign off. It's droopy. What were we doing where everybody was
Travis
talking?
and Mark. We were
God.
We were with the folks from
professional voice actors. Yeah, Travis and Mark are just tremendous folks from the Theater of Tomorrow. An amazing podcast. I can't say enough about it, and I probably won't say anything more. All right, let's wrap this up.
All right.
Bye, folks.
Thanks a lot for listening and putting up with us today, and we'll be back to our regular program schedule soon.